Cool, man. Well, I'm here with Mr. Charlie Cole. Appreciate you being with us today. Man, I was thinking about it earlier. How I met you is through mutual friends of my mother, which typically when my mom tries to get me to meet someone, I'm reluctant because a lot of times she's just trying to get me to sign up for one of her many MLMs. Like she's the one, multi-level marketing. She's a so you got to keep your guards up. She'll get you in a pyramid scheme quick. So I was like, okay, I'll call, and then I get to talking to you. I was like, okay, I was fascinated by your story and accomplishments, and yeah, I'm so honored and glad to have you on here, Mr. Charlie.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, and you got your friend under the table, Sam.
Sonny,
the golden retriever.
Dog, yeah.
So what kind of service does he provide?
Companionship, emotional support.
Nice.
I lost my wife 3 years ago.
Oh, wow. So it's nice to have a companion with you. I'm so sorry. What was her name? Kathy. So 3 years. How long were we all married?
42 years.
Wow. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Did you have any kids? No. Okay. So it's just y'all two. Wow. That is such a hard transition, man. I didn't mean to start us off so heavy, man. I'm so sorry.
Right.
I'm so
It's
sorry.
the toughest hill I had to climb in life.
Wow.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine. Can't imagine. Well, yeah, Sonny's a great dog. I'm sure it's great to have a friend with you, and it's a sweet dog. We have a service dog that'll come to church sometimes, but I think they just bought the vest off of Amazon, and he like barks and growls at people. It's something we got to deal with. I think his service is going to be a lawsuit. But yeah, when we were talking on the phone, you shared a little bit about your past, and we had some mutual friends. I think, in fact, one of the connectors was the Dyer family.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful people.
Oh, my gosh. Mr. Jack Dyer was a legend. And so that was your friend, mentor?
Yeah, I call him a spiritual mentor. He was a small frame guy, but just a giant of a person. I met the presidents of probably well over a dozen countries.
Wow.
Through Jack Dyer.
Wow.
Quite a guy.
Yeah. I got to visit some of his work in Honduras, and which was so cool. And then last time I saw him, I remember I was helping him move some stuff in a storage container. And so I'm just a young intern at the church we were connected at, Healing Place Church, and he was riding in my truck. And I was helping move stuff, and I was like, I have a spiritual giant in my car right now, and I just felt so honored just to help him move his stuff. Great, man. And then another very colorful friend of ours is John Bonfiglio.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Which he was one of a kind.
Oh, absolutely.
He
was a partner of ours in the Country Club of Louisiana.
Okay. Yeah, I remember one time his son, who I'd gotten to be friends with, just trying to help him give some direction in life. He's like, "Hey, let's go." My dad has a membership to the country club, and so he came to church with us, and he was like, "Let's go to the country club." And so he calls Mr. John, who loved me, but he's he wasn't expecting the phone call. He goes, "Hey, Dad, I want to bring Chad and his wife to eat at the country club." He goes, "Joe, why do you put me in these predicaments?" I'm like, "Come on, Mr. John, you can afford for him to sign your name for this meal." But I remember he had a very low number. I think it was number like 3, or he had a very low membership number. But yeah, Mr. John, I loved Mr. John. He was a cool guy. But okay, so country club. So I wanted to talk to you about your career a little bit, because I mean, you've had some incredible accomplishments in the development career.
Well, I've been just fortunate. We all had to do something in life.
Yeah.
All that was bathed in prayer as well, by the way. The country club started as the Baton Rouge Country Club had a waiting list of 3 to 5 years, and I'm not a joiner, but I went by and verified this waiting list. And anytime there's a waiting list, that means, we're impatient people, right? I mean, we
Absolutely.
want something now.
Absolutely.
I mean, fast food and all those things, right? So if somebody's willing to stand in line or wait, especially years to get in, there must be something of value there. And then there's the economic law of supply and demand that we all know and understand. So that birthed the Country Club Louisiana.
Wow, I never knew that.
It started as an answer to the waiting list at the Baton Rouge Country Club, and then its success story has been seen and enjoyed by many.
Yeah, wow, that's I never knew that, because the Baton Rouge Country Club isn't even. I mean, it's two different animals. One's a neighborhood community, and one is just a building, correct?
Right.
And golf course.
Right.
Wow. And so when you say you're the developer, what does that entail?
Well, in this case, I was kind of a co-developer with Jack Nicholas. I put the land together, the idea together. John Miller came in and raised the money, and was really more involved on the country club side of things. Jack Nicholas asked me to join his team in the development of the Country Club Louisiana and surrounding community. So that was my role, and mainly in marketing.
Okay. So but you're the one that had the vision for it.
Initially, yes.
And then people rally around you. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you owned the bulldozers and the development in that area. You put the deal together, assembled the right people, and wow, that is amazing. You got a lot I need to learn. I need to learn a lot from you, because I'm a guy that I have vision, and it's one thing to have vision, but it's another thing to have the guts to go after that vision and put the right people around that vision. Yeah, that's amazing. And then Santa Maria,
Right.
developed that, which is another golf course.
And residential community around it. In fact, John Bonifiglio's son used to live in Santa Maria.
Danny.
Danny,
Yeah.
exactly. A wonderful home. I remember it has a motor court with two-car garage on each side of the motor court, backing up to a fairway and a pretty lake.
Oh, wow.
The country club, then Country Club Louisiana, then gave birth to Santa Maria.
Okay. My dad, he's had a home inspection company since '89. He was one of the first home inspectors in Baton Rouge, and I worked for him for well over a decade. But I was inspecting a house in Santa Maria one time, and I found it had hail damage just on the backside. And it was because of where it was in the golf course. It was getting hit by golf balls so frequently. It had some serious hail damage. But I wanted to, your career is, impressive, and I love how you give all glory to God in that. But as far as projects you've done, what is the project that you're most proud of from that era? I know the one we're going to get to in a few minutes probably would be the answer.
Oh, pride's a funny word,
Or satisfied with.
Satisfied,
Yeah.
maybe be a better
Yeah.
one. How do you mix pride and humility?
Correct.
In the same talk? I don't know. I don't know. I just had some wonderful opportunities. Both of those were great. I'm in the timber business as well. Very few people know about that. And maybe that gave me an appreciation for the beauty of land.
Wow. Yeah.
Born and reared in a small country town, Greensburg, Louisiana. And maybe that's what led me into this career.
Right. Yeah, that's a fantastic business. I know my brother-in-law, he has some timber land that he inherited, It was interesting to learn about it. It's like you just wait until the pine trees get big enough, and then you cash in, and then you plant them again.
I used to tease my father about being a lazy farmer.
That's funny. That's funny. And I read in your bio you have a love for old homes. Yeah. So have you done a lot of renovating of homes?
I have. I've always had a renovation going on the side for personal enjoyment. I never did it for commerce.
Yeah.
Renovated old historic structure here in town. Later, Willow Springs Plantation on Highway 61 between here and St. Francisville. And then, there's no order. The home I live in here in town is an old plantation home, Santa Maria, next door to the golf course community.
Okay. So you're not in the neighborhood, you're next door to it.
Next door.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I was trying when I figured you lived in there, and I was like, oh, man, I haven't seen an old home in there. Okay.
No, I never chose to live where I worked because you never get away.
That's a good point. Very good point. Yeah, I love the old houses as well. My wife and I, our first home was it was well over 100 years old. It was moved from Spanish Town to Prairieville. And when my wife and I were getting married, looking for a home, we get this email from our realtor. And I mean, I thought it was a joke because he's a jokester. I was like, man, why would he send me this piece of junk? And so I go look at it, and it just all clicked for me. I mean, there was literally holes in the floors. Someone had done a very poor job moving it and renovating it. But man, we bought that house for $63,000. And we sold it for, I think, $180,000, which, being a newlywed couple, I think we lived there for 4 or 5 years, gave us a, huge leg up on our next home. Yeah. But it was a great experience. My grandfather, he's passed away, he would drive all the way to Prairieville from Mandeville almost every day to help me work on that house. And it was really nice just to have that final project with him.
This ties back into the earlier question I couldn't give you a good answer for. Which property did I get the most satisfaction from? Willow Springs Plantation on Highway 61. And now we're talking numbers. I don't normally talk numbers, but back in when was that? In 1976, I bought that for $57,000. And spent about a year renovating it. And then they hit a giant Tuscaloosa oil well in the backyard.
Oh, my gosh.
And so I got the most satisfaction out of that, not because of the monetary aspect, but it allowed me to do things that I wouldn't otherwise have been able to do. I spent 4+ years putting together a country club of Louisiana at no income. Had I not had that all income, I would have not.
Right.
I would have not been able to afford that time to
Wow.
establish that. So it allowed me to do a lot of other things in life that I would not have otherwise gotten. So maybe that was
That's pretty amazing. That's some provision.
Property.
And it's a real life Beverly Hillbillies story, huh?
Yes.
I'm sure people. What was it, Jethro?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's incredible. Do you still own that property?
I do.
Okay, very nice. Is it still producing?
Very little.
Very little.
Yeah, but it was a good ride for 35, 40 years.
Oh my goodness! Wow, that's amazing. Well, man, that's cool. So, what was your because those development projects were kind of far apart, probably. And then once those are completed, what was your daily job or task when you weren't doing these huge projects? Did you, smaller projects in between or?
Well, in between, I took a couple of years off. The economy was poor in the 90s due to the 86 Tax Act and the recession that followed in the late 80s, early 90s. So I said, why paddle upstream in a downstream economy? So we traveled. We traveled a lot, traveled the world.
Wow.
Renovated a small cottage in France. and later bought a boat and traveled through the canals of Europe. And so kind of got the travel out of my system, now settling down for my last and final project.
Wow. Man, I love that. You hear so many people that they have success and they don't take the time to enjoy the fruits of their labor. And I know travel, Europe is amazing. You know, my wife and I got to go to Italy for our 20-year anniversary, and I can't imagine spending months there. I could in a heartbeat. It would be amazing. Well, that's great. That's awesome. So traveled the world, got to enjoy it, then came back, got back to work, I guess.
Well, it was a sabbatical kind of between, university professors are allowed a 2-year sabbatical.
Were you a professor?
No, I was
Okay.
not.
Okay.
but I adopted that theory. I thought I was really hard and intense number of years with Country Club Louisiana. So I took a 2-year sabbatical before then I started Santa Maria.
Okay.
And Santa Maria was a solo. It was just
you.
Kathy and mine. And
Wow. Wow.
had a good team of people that worked with me, of course.
Wow. And I love that neighborhood. How it has the little chapel in the back. One of my good friends got married in that chapel. I'm sure a lot of people have. Yeah, that's a fantastic neighborhood. Good work, man. That's amazing. I remember, what was it? The floods of 2016. I don't know. I don't know if any of it flooded, but the water got way close to it. And when we were going to, I was with some of the members of the Cajun Navy. We put our boat in over by Husha 2, that's where I grew up. And it was crazy. I mean, we almost got sucked under a bridge just going to try to rescue people. We get all the way to Santa Maria, and we're like, hey, we can help you get out of there. Like, we're good. We got generators. Like nobody wanted to leave. What a beautiful neighborhood. Well, man, one thing that, I think the real big connector was your latest project, or as you described it, your final project, the Como Retreat Center. And I know that's something you're super, passionate about, and it's something I'm really excited to learn more about. But you acquired a property. Is it in Louisiana?
It is.
It is, okay, because that's like on the line of Mississippi, I'm sure.
It's close.
Yeah. So you have a piece of property, and you're now doing retreats. Because, I mean, you shared with me over the phone that Christ completely got your heart, and which I'm sure is a fantastic story in itself, how you found Christ. But I love that you're using your lifelong, all the tools that you've gathered all these years of building, developing, now to use it for eternal purposes.
Well said.
And so, maybe share with us, when did you come to Christ, and when did you get this passion? Look, I meet a lot of people that are very wealthy, and that ends up being their God. The wealth, and people are like, well, they don't give money away and that's why they have money. I was like, no, they don't give money away because that's their God. I wouldn't give my God away either. And so when you find someone that has had great success and they're like using it to further the kingdom, it does pique interest, because unfortunately, it can be rare. So where does that come from, you wanting to make that eternal difference on this planet to further the kingdom?
Well, you had a number of questions there.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Maybe we should take
You have to
them
get
in order.
the dog's help.
Where did I come to know Christ? The chapel on campus.
Okay.
I was born and reared a Catholic. I was an altar boy, and sent off to Catholic high school here in town from the little town of Greensburg. But in my college years, you begin to question things, wonder, what is truth?
Mm.
What is real? Is religion? Is it guilt for our sins? Is it fear of going to hell? It must be something more to it than this, And so I went on a search. I mean, I went to numbers of different churches, sat on the back row and just listened. And so
And this
I
is
had
while you're in college?
while I was in college.
Okay.
So I had an empty spot that I was searching to fill. It's this spiritual emptiness. And finally found it at the chapel on campus. It's a long, fascinating story, but I won't go into that. Jerry Como, interesting friend, invited me, and Don Tabb was a minister, and I accepted Christ there, and I got involved in Bible studies, and still am involved. So I guess that maybe answers your first question. How did Como come about? After I retired early. I retired at age 55. I went to Manresa. Manresa is a retreat center in Convent, Louisiana, between here and New Orleans, run by the Jesuit priest. It's hailed as the number one retreat center in the nation, by the way.
What's it called?
Manresa, Manresa. So I went there for many, many, many years. And as I was sitting in the rocking chair one night, my favorite spot on the upstairs veranda with my Bible in my lap, just kind of having a conversation with the Lord. And my conversations, let me pause and explain that because I was puzzled by this, my early Christian life. People would say that the Lord said this, or the Lord told me this, and I thought, well, maybe I'm not the Christian I should be, because He's never said, "Hey, Cole," or spoke to me audibly.
Yeah.
And then later, through study and questioning, Charles Stanley has a great book out, How to Listen to God. And I gathered and I understood through that second search or journey that God spoke to me through thought.
Yeah.
And especially thought that was not common to me. I kind of that was my test. If it was an outside thought that was not my normal thought patterns, I go like, ooh, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
And then I would examine it and see whether it was from Him. So that's what happened that night. I was not audibly talking to God. I was sitting there thinking, okay, now I'm retired, 55. And I just kind of looked up and was kind of like, well, what's next, Lord? And here I was sitting in a place that had a 3 to 5 year waiting list.
At
Manresa.
Manresa.
It took 3 to 5 years to get in.
So there's your the supply and demand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I went like, okay, I got
Wow.
it, Lord.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's the next one. I got it, and I don't even know whether I said it out loud. I probably just said it because it's a silent retreat, by the way. So I probably just said it to myself. Okay, Lord, I got it, and I'll with your help, I'll do it. So that was the genesis, the birth of the idea of Como.
Okay.
The journey was a long one, 20 years. But maybe we should talk about what is Como.
Sure.
Como is patterned after Manresa, the number one retreat center in the nation. I took copious notes of the platitudes, what makes Manresa, Manresa. Silence is a big one, 10, 30-minute lectures, time off for rest and relaxation, good food, comfortable place to stay, beautiful surroundings of nature. And then in the design, in the 3 years we spent in design, we toured the cloisters on the Platte River in Nebraska. It's hailed as probably the Disneyland of retreat centers in the nation. A guy by the name of Joe Ricketts built it, Joe had quite a different budget than I did. He didn't build a church, he built a cathedral.
Wow.
He didn't build housing units or eightplexes, but he built things that looked like ski chalets.
Wow.
Every of the 8 buildings, of the eight plexes he has, every one of them had a water feature, a mountain stream coming through it,
Wow.
out in the edge of a lake.
And what's that one called?
The cloisters on the Platte River.
On the Platte.
Are
Okay.
just the cloisters. You can look it up on the web. Anyway, I had Danny Dyer, Jack Dyer's son, Chris Medier, who worked with at the country club and later at Santa Maria, and I were kind of a 3-man team. And so we went to tour the cloisters. And I said, wouldn't it be nice? We didn't go to tour. We went there on a retreat to find out what it's like, to take notes. And so wouldn't it be nice if we could talk to Mr. Ricketts and find out what he had done? His train left the station 2 years ahead of us. Find out what he did to create, what he would change, what he would do differently. There'd just be a whole body of knowledge that we were thirsty for and hungry for. And but one of the guys kind of wisecracked on a conference call one day. I said, wouldn't it be nice if we could talk to Joe Ricketts? And they said, yeah, Cole, that'd be really good. Why don't you see whether you can get us an audience with the Pope as well? Joe owned TD Ameritrade, the first discount stock brokerage firm to go worldwide. He sold it to Schwab 2 years ago for $27 billion with a capital B.
My goodness.
Dollars. So he had quite a bit of a different budget.
You said 27?
27. And
It's unbelievable.
But he granted us a half a day of his time. I mean, he was so generous with his time. He was so helpful. He looked at, and I look at, and you and others look at it, is God's economy we're working in now, right?
Right.
And any way we can help somebody, whether they're a competitor or perceived competitor, in God's economy, we owe it.
Yeah.
We should be helping one another.
Of course.
So he was an immense help. In fact, he hired the people from Manresa to be his consultants. And here's one thing I learned from Joe that very day. He said, look, don't overlook having ladies' retreats.
That's good.
Manresa's all men. And he says, by accident, I fell into this, another very long story. But he said 60% of his retreatants are ladies. They're a waiting list as strong as 80 people on the waiting list. There's only 80 spots in his retreat. So it's double the occupancy on waiting lists. He said, don't overlook that.
Yeah.
So that was one of the many things we learned from Joe, that we came back and incorporated Manresa, the best in the nation, with the newest and biggest and finest in the nation.
Wow.
And we incorporated that. So we do have retreats for ladies, men's, and couples.
Okay.
So what is Manresa? It's 3 days, Como. 3-day silent retreat, Christian-based, biblically based, maybe I can just walk you through an itinerary quickly.
Yeah, that'd be.
I'll tell you about where it is. We start typically, we have some midweeks for those of us like myself who are retired, and mostly on weekends. We start on the Mississippi River with a fish fry. Como is the only plantation home in all of Louisiana that has an unobstructed view of the Mississippi River.
Oh, wow.
All the others are blocked by that
Right.
system. Como is above St. Francisville, down at the dead end of a 4.5-mile gravel road, surrounded by wildlife and fisheries property, absentee owners.
Is it near Angola?
It is south of Angola,
Okay.
probably 3 or 4 bends downriver from Angola.
Okay.
We don't always like to make that connection.
Right.
So on a Friday, you arrive, check in your room. There's 15 cottages, 6 suites in the main house.
And when you say suites, that's a bedroom with its own bathroom?
That's correct.
Oh, wow. So you could accommodate 6 couples in the main house.
Well, with men's retreats and with ladies' retreats, there's one person to a room.
Okay. Well, that's
Then
nice.
Once a year, we have a couples retreat. There's 2 people to a room.
Okay.
And we're allowed to talk there because that's kind of a workshop.
Wow.
The couples retreats.
Okay.
Led by Pete and Dee Adams, wonderful couple who've done 25 of these workshops. So the cabins have full baths and stuff, quaint, nice. In fact, Como was a riverboat town. It's called Como Landing back in the paddle wheeler days. And then once, that was during the agrarian era. And then during the industrial age, there was a railroad in the backyard, and it supplanted river traffic. It's faster, quicker, more predictable, more economical. And Como then changed from Como Landing to Brandon, Louisiana, the name of the family.
Okay.
So it was Brandon Railroad and Post Office. So when I acquired the place, it was a little town. It was an old main house, an old church or chapel, a commissary, a company store, a blacksmith shop, all in poor state of repair. So it took us 3 years to restore all that.
Wow.
It's on the National Register of Historic Places. So back to the itinerary. So fish fry on the river, beautiful sunset. The sunsets are gorgeous.
I can imagine.
Then after sunset, we go to the chapel for worship. There's a guy nicknamed Preacher Cowboy, a minister up in the Tunica Hills there that has 8 CDs out, all written and performed by himself, and all Christian-related hymns of songs.
Okay.
He performs for maybe an hour or so. Then we moved to the library, which was an old schoolhouse that we made a library out of for the first lecture. There are 10 20 to 30-minute lectures sprinkled throughout the 3 days. Danny Dyer, Jack Dyer's son, wrote the 10 stepping stones to a closer relationship with Christ. I tell you, they're so good. They're so good that 2 ministers, I don't know whether they're supposed to call names here or not, but anyway, 2 ministers approached Danny and I at the end of one retreat and asked permission to use those 10 stepping stones as their next 10 Sunday sermons.
Yeah.
They were that strong.
That's
and when
awesome.
you impress a minister,
Yeah.
you've done a good job. Later, I'll give you some testimonies. So during the 2 days, wonderful meals, very comfortable place, beautiful environment. It's where the Cat Island Swamp meets the Tunica Hills, hiking trails, plenty of time off for meditating, for praying, for journaling, for relaxing, for hiking during the 3-day stay. So that's what Como is about in the way of definition.
Yeah. No, that sounds amazing. This is something, retreats and these retreat centers, they're so essential for people, but I know in my context, being a ministry, being a pastor, it's something similar that kept me in ministry. It's one that's in South Carolina. Pastor Greg Surratt developed it, called the Retreat at Church Creek. Retreat at Church Creek, and I think the creek is called Church Creek, just coincidentally. But I was probably very close to leaving ministry. And I went to this retreat center, and I'm a very social guy. I make friends everywhere. I have to actually, I try not to make friends sometimes. Like at the gym, I don't want to make friends because they'll distract me from working out. I'm there, I got an hour, I don't need friends, but I accidentally recently made friends with people, so that's a problem. I'm going to have to change gyms. But I get to this retreat center. I was in such a bad place that we were leaving on a pontoon boat to go fishing, or maybe it was a sunset cruise. And I told the guys, hey, can you bring me back? I got them to bring me back. I couldn't talk. I didn't want to associate with anybody. But on that retreat, just by myself, walking around the ponds, it's like something just lifted and it broke off of me. And I found freedom in that moment. And I've gone back a few times. And so yeah, I think it's so needed. And like what was the one in Platte River? How do you say that?
The cloisters.
The cloisters, when he told you don't leave out the women, one thing that I'm seeing, and especially in these church pastor-focused retreat centers, and they're focused on the men, but the dynamics of churches have changed so much. I know, especially at Purpose Church, it's my wife and I in it together, and the ladies get left out, and so. I'm glad to hear you say that you have married retreats available and that you can talk, because I can't imagine being around my wife and her not talking to me. That'd be crazy. But I mean, marriages are so important, and I know marriage is so important to you. And so I love that is a focus as well. I guess I have a question, as far as I've never been on a silent retreat before. What does that look like? Like if you speak, is there consequences? What is how does that even look?
That's a good question. Well, the premise is that silence is a classroom where you learn to hear God's voice.
Amen. Yeah.
And so we're so busy today. These machines are constantly busy. The information age, the digital age. So where do we ever take a break from these things?
Yeah.
Where do we quiet ourselves? A lot of us have quiet times in the morning, early morning hours before phones ring, and those are valuable times to those of us who are in the habit of practicing that. But how do you extend that quiet time where you can really, really focus on purpose, focus on where you're going in life, focus on the important things, focus on eternity. So a lot of people are concerned about that. A lot of people, especially the ladies, whoo.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know whether I can go for 3 days without talking. But silence is actually golden. Once you experience it, it is, and it's not that hard at all. Once you experience it, when you finish a retreat, when you get in your car to drive home, you turn the switch on and immediately the radio comes on. Most of us just go click it back off so we can go back to silence.
Wow.
We don't want to be distracted.
Yeah.
We want our thoughts to be Christ-centered. We want to be able to understand what He would like us to understand.
Yeah.
We've thought about collecting cell phones. There's a restaurant, by the way, in Texas that opened up. That when you go to the restaurant, you check your phone in, and I understand it's gaining a lot of popularity. We are not there yet because, especially with the ladies, they want to be in tune to how their children or their aging parents and kind of to try to be available. But so we ask people to turn their phones off, leave them in the car. If they feel like they need to have some communication, they can have my personal number.
Okay.
And then a parent or emergency call will come through to me, and I'll go find them and tend to the situation. But silence is not only vocal; it's expression. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm saying to you, let's go to the river. So that's a distraction. I'm just saying with pointing toward the river, let's go to the river so we can talk.
Yeah.
You know, well, if he's over there looking, he's distracted by that. His
Right.
thoughts then move from where he wants them to be to, oh, they're going to the river. I guess they're going down there so they can talk. You know?
Yeah.
So silence comes in many forms, but it's easy. It's the least. It's the most important, but the least to be concerned about.
Okay. I guess I'm picturing myself with, getting some friends to be there that, live in other parts of the country. How would I go 3 days without speaking, to these guys that I never get to be around? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but good question. So when we arrive, the day that we arrive, there's communication. It's
Okay, 'cause
usually
fish fry,
cabin
that's-
where
okay.
Fish fry, everybody gets to know one another. You develop friendships there. We purposely kind of try to introduce people, names, and where they're from, what they're involved
Right.
in, and et cetera, to create friendship. And then silence only starts after the worship service in the chapel, and we go to the library. And at the end of the first lecture, silence starts. And then at the end on Sunday, mid-afternoon, we break silence. And then we have a critique sheet where we say, hey, tell us what we can do better to
Okay.
improve this experience. What did you get out of it? What is your takeaway? And so boy, that conversation is really stimulating. Great quotes come out of that. Let me just read you a couple of them.
Please.
This one fellow wrote, life-affirming, life-giving experience, whether you're a new or seasoned Christian. I was filled with a new and deeper awareness of the Holy Spirit.
Wow.
He went on to say that as in his rearing, he didn't know much about the Holy Spirit, and he said, you know what, I feel like I have a new friend I'm taking home with me. You know?
Wow.
Another one, this person said, hey, it's my third time at a Como retreat. I can look back with confidence knowing that God used this space and these teachings to strengthen my faith and draw me closer to him. The quiet recalibrates my ear to hear his voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
The quiet recalibrates my ear to hear his voice. And lastly, one of our questions we like to ask is, what would keep you from coming back, or would you plan on returning on your annual retreat a year from now, a retreat date a year from now? And this one person wrote, the only thing that would stop me from returning would be if I am checking my bags with St. Peter.
Yeah. Oh, that's powerful. How many people have been through so far?
Oh, I don't know that number. Jack Dyer would say, Charlie, it's not the numbers that are important. He used to wince and at the numbers at church, attendance last 729.
Yeah.
Baptisms
Yeah.
year to date, 83. He says, not the numbers.
Yeah.
The numbers are not important.
Yeah.
It's the individual relationships.
That's right.
It's a one-on-one with you and your maker.
I
Christ.
can completely appreciate that.
I've not stopped to look
Okay.
at the numbers.
Well, that's one thing that, in the church world, I'm not one that gains confidence based off numbers. Fortunately, because our church, it's not a big church, but, I look at these individual lives that have been changed, people whose, marriages have been saved, people who have been rescued out of addiction, and like that's the fruit that I look at. If my confidence came from empty chairs, I would be a very broken man because, we got empty chairs on Sundays, but the chairs that are filled are lives that have been completely changed. I know the stories of marriages saved, people that would be divorced right now if it wasn't for what Christ did, through the ministries that he's allowed us to be a part of. So, yeah, I can definitely appreciate that. Is there like currently a waiting list?
No, I wish there was. I will admit my mistakes. I was so busy developing and building and restoring, and we just finished the last of the 15 cabins. It's kind of like that biblical thing that says you don't light a candle and put it on a lampstand and then put a basket over it. Well, I'm afraid I've been guilty of that.
Wow.
I've been just so busy building and restoring and doing the early retreats and then improving retreats that it's now time to take the basket off.
Okay.
That candle.
Let your light shine.
Let the light. Let
Wow.
Como's light
Yeah,
shine.
yeah.
Not mine. We well. Next question. I'm sorry, I lost that thought.
Oh, no,
Forgive me.
totally. That's fine. I'm very interested. I would love to make a trip out there and especially if you don't have anything going on, bring my wife and kids out there to see it, put my eyes on it, and would love to, I would love for every single person that's a part of our church and ministry to have the opportunity to be there. What is this? Well, two questions. I'm not going to throw 1,000 of them at you again. What does a retreat there cost? And then how does someone sign up to go on one of these retreats?
Good. Very good questions. Well, let's talk about cost. A well-known minister one time said to me, don't be bashful about talking about that. There is a cost to ministry, and you can't ignore that. It's real. The answer is $450.
Okay, for the 3 day.
For 3 days.
450, you said?
$450. What we did is we took Cammie, my girl Friday, looked up every retreat center, some 20 some odd, 26 of them to be exact, in a 150-mile radius of us, analyzed what they had to offer. A lot of them were bunk beds and, day retreats. And so we kind of tossed those out, and we got down to the ones that are most similar to ours. And then we took an average of what they charge, and that average turned out to be $475. Well, we said, let's make ours a little less than that. Let's do the thing about delivering a good measure.
Yeah.
That was a practice I had in my real estate career, and now in my secular, with Como. I visualize a tin of flour where you tamp it down, you add a little more, tamp it down, add a little more, and then you deliver a good measure.
Nice.
So that was our philosophy in reducing hours below. And we know that looking at these other retreat centers, that we have a wonderful spot. We have a magical spot. We have nature. We have beauty.
Wow.
We have sunsets. We have all those things that some of these others are like a hotel room in a conference center, and are missing those things. So we didn't add on for those things.
Yeah. $450 is, to me, I think the Best Western for three days would cost you close to that.
Well said.
Yeah, I mean,
said.
I always like look for a comparison, and I mean, yeah, you can't do much for $450 these days.
The actual cost is much in excess
Of course.
of that.
I mean, for the food and the stay.
Is well over double that.
Of course.
Is the actual cost.
I would imagine. I mean, the retreats that I've gone to, unless, I've always been scholarship to go to them, but they're well over $1,000 for the 3 or 4 days.
We didn't want that to be a barrier to somebody to attend.
Yeah.
In fact, we actually have a scholarship fund.
Okay.
So if somebody can't afford it, they write us and explain their situation.
Okay.
And people
Wow.
have donated to that scholarship fund, so we can scholarship them in if they can't afford the $450.
Okay. One more question before I get to how you can sign up. Okay, you said we have great food. Like, what are we talking here? We get like steaks. We got fried fish. I know that. What kind of food we working with?
Well, breakfast is more kind of a fruit and eggs and bacon.
Okay.
And, I don't know,
More of a traditional breakfast.
muffins, those sorts of things.
Heck yeah.
Lunch, because we encourage people to go on a hike at lunchtime or go find a tree to sit under to meditate or journal. And so our lunches are bagged lunches, but you prepare
Perfect.
your own. And there's
Okay.
a smorgasbord of meats and
I
cheeses
like that.
and different breads and cookies and potato chips. And you just put together your own bagged lunches
I like that.
and then just kind of disappear
Yeah.
and have lunch on your own. The evening meals are fantastic. Pot roast, potatoes, big green salad, green beans, just hearty,
Heck
good
yeah.
South Louisiana
Yes, indeed.
food.
Okay.
We get compliments on our food.
Okay. I love it. Well, I mean, you won't hear complaints while they're there. That's for sure.
Right.
They won't be able to tell you about it. So how does somebody sign up for this? Because I definitely want to make this resource available to anyone that's interested. Because, look, you hit on it. The phones, I mean, they become an addiction, and it deters great conversation. It takes your attention off of your wife when she's trying to talk to you, or kids when they're trying to talk to you. It's a problem. And so I love when I forget my phone at home, because I'm like, okay, I get a silent retreat. I don't have this thing right there attached to me. So I think I get it. It would be so beneficial for someone to remove the distractions and allow Christ, allow the Holy Spirit to truly have his way in their hearts. So, I mean, how does someone sign up for this?
Very good question, and thanks for asking, Chad. And we hope that you would not only come with your family, but we would hope that you would come experience our
I want to get a group together and come
Good.
and be a part of this.
Good. Please. That'd be greatly appreciated. And you, by having me as your guest here, has helped me take that basket off of that candle.
I love it.
And I'm grateful for that. There's a website, comoretreat.org.
Okay.
When you go to the website, the first thing you'll see is a 90-second video done by Ben Jones, a friend who has just done a Peace River, a movie that premiered here, and he's working on a second movie now. But he came up and did a wonderful job giving you an overview of Como. Treat yourself. Go spend 90 seconds and look at that. That leads you into the website. In the website, there's a bio in Danny Dyer telling you who he is. There's kind of a description of what the 10 stepping stones are about. There's an itinerary. There's a photo gallery, so you can see what the cabins are like. But the way you sign up is much like a vacation rental, or even booking hotels now online. There'll be a calendar as to when the retreats are. You look at your personal schedule. and you punch a button saying, hey, I'd like December 7th. By the way, we have one coming up, December 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Okay.
And so if your calendar permits you, you punch on December 7th. All you have to do is give us your email address. We do require a $200 deposit at sign up, and the balance to be paid before or at the beginning of the retreat.
Okay.
So it's just that simple.
Yeah.
It's just, we want to make it easy. From the email addresses, we don't have time to bother people or flood them with anything. We don't give away their emails to anyone else. But there are questions. How do you get there? Directions.
Yeah.
What do I need to pack? What do I need to bring with me? And just a gentle reminder, you're 5 days away from your retreat. Here are the things you might be thinking about to put in your suitcase.
Okay.
Those sorts of things.
That's awesome. Well, man, I just want to thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for furthering the kingdom and caring about your brother, your neighbor, and their well-being, their souls. I mean, you don't do something like this if you don't care about the souls of your neighbor. And I just really appreciate that your final project is something that will it's going to make it to eternity. It's going to show up in eternity. And that's and that's why I wanted to be careful when I asked, what's your most satisfying project, because I would think this beats them all.
Oh, it will.
I mean, 100%. I knew that was going to be your answer, so I was trying to keep you from answering that. Because
the personal enjoyment, the reading the testimonies, talking with the people, seeing lives change, meeting people like you, I think life is just beginning. It's not ending. I'm excited about life. I'd be remiss if I didn't say this too, Chad. Como is run by volunteers. There's only three paid people, the groundskeeping, the housekeeping, and the maintenance.
Okay.
Everything else is with volunteers.
Wow.
And our volunteer base comes from people who've been on retreat.
Okay.
They see and recognize the value of it.
That's amazing.
And want to get involved and help others see and recognize that value.
Wow.
If I could close with something that I think is, this was, Craig Dennison has a wonderful ministry called the First 15. And Rafa Kalsha introduced me to this some times ago. It's a first 15 minutes in the morning while you're putting coffee on or washing the dishes or whatever your morning habits are. And it's a devotional, a meditation, and then it's ended with some wonderful music. But this came from one of Craig's. It says, "It is up to us alone to prayerfully decide where to invest our limited, precious resource of time, energy, thought, finances, and passion. I believe that seasonally God gives us both the opportunity and responsibility to reassess where we are and invest ourselves fully in that which is most important. Give everything you are and have to only that which you're called, and experience the freedom and joy that comes with investing in what is most important, and that's eternity."
Wow. That's powerful. That's so good. Great way to wrap it. Mr. Charlie, I appreciate you being on here. You might be one of the most interesting people that I've ever met.
Oh, no.
And I appreciate what you do for the kingdom, what you've done for our city. And I look forward to getting to know you even better and making a trip out there, seeing your work.
Well, me as well, and hopefully your listeners will go to that website.
Yeah, we're going to make it available to them to, make the link easy to get to, and we'll even put a link to that video on your website as well. But, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Chad.
All right.